In this video, we're going to explore how to create a building portfolio. Portfolios allow you to create complex criteria and filtering rules to formulate a building portfolio, which can then be shared with other users and utilized in other features within the platform, such as projects. To get started, we'll need to navigate to the Portfolios feature. You can do this via the left-hand side navigation menu by clicking on this button here. If you've created any portfolios before, you'll see them listed here. To get started, click Create New Portfolio. You'll see some guidance on the right side panel. I recommend you check this out if you need any support when you go to build a new portfolio. First, let's add a title and description to our portfolio. In our example today, we've been tasked with identifying optimal locations to install ground source and air source heat pumps. And we know that properties with lower EPC ratings wouldn't efficiently retain the warmth generated by heat pumps, so we want to target properties that have EPC ratings of A, B, or C. Additionally, due to funding constraints, we'd like to be able to highlight homes that would be eligible for funding via a scheme that our council has in mind. So let's title our portfolio Optimal Properties for Heat Decarbonization. And in the description, let's explain that these properties have suitable EPC ratings and would be likely eligible for our funding scheme. As the name suggests, Portfolios allows you to build out a portfolio of buildings which meet a specific set of criteria. You can filter buildings geospatially with a geospatial rule, which allows you to only include buildings in your portfolio which are in a specific area, which you can either draw onto the map or choose within a dataset. You can also filter by a regular rule, which allows you to add a filter based on a dataset within the platform. To kick off, let's start by adding some rules into our portfolio. As I mentioned earlier, we want to make sure that our building portfolio only includes buildings that have a specific EPC rating. So to start, I'm going to add a regular rule because I know that the EPC rating data is available within the Domestic Insulation Potential dataset. I'll select Domestic Insulation Potential from the drop-down menu here, and then I can choose which field I'd like to filter by within that dataset, which in this case is EPC rating. Then I'll just select A, B, and C. And now that I've selected those options, I know that only buildings that match this criteria will be included in my final building portfolio. Next, I want to ensure that we're targeting properties which are likely to be eligible for funding. I know based on the funding that my council has acquired that we need to be focusing on properties which are in an area that is ranked 3 or lower on the English Index of Deprivation. Now, I know from checking out the Data Explorer that the English Indices of Deprivation dataset is available within the platform at an LSOA level. So I'm going to add a geospatial rule to my portfolio. Under Condition, I'm going to select Intersects and Dataset Filter because I know I want to target properties that meet that criteria. I'll then select my dataset from the drop-down menu and choose the field within the dataset that I'm interested in. Next, we obviously want to ensure that the buildings we select are going to be suitable to have air source or ground source heat pumps installed. Now, if I were to try to add 2 additional rules, where I said that the properties were suitable for air source and ground source heat pumps, this AND function that you see here would mean that this portfolio would try to only include buildings which are suitable for both air source and ground source heat pumps. But actually, we just need to find properties which are suitable for one or the other. Now, I could change this operator function to be OR, but then the model would not consider all of my other rules when choosing buildings. In other words, any building that meets any single one of these criteria would be included in my final result, which is not the result that I want. The solution to this is to create a group. You can click here to make a group, and then I'm going to add in a rule for both air source and ground source heat pumps separately. From the dataset field dropdown, I'll just select Overall Suitability and select True for the filtering condition. Then I'll change the operator function within this group to be an OR function. Now, if you look at the way this portfolio has been built, you'll see that it'll consider all buildings which have an EPC rating of A, B, or C, and which meet my funding criteria, and which are suitable for air source or ground source heat pumps. Now I'll just click Create Portfolio. Depending on how complex your portfolio is, it may take a couple of minutes to run. If it's still pending, click the refresh button and you should see it pop up in this list. Click View Results to view your portfolio. Here, you'll see all of the buildings which meet the criteria that we just set on the map. We can adjust the fill color and what the coloring on the map is being based on the left-hand side. You can also view your data in a table format by clicking here, and export it out of the tool as a CSV file by clicking here. Lastly, you can share portfolios with other colleagues within your same dashboard, and you can clone portfolios if you want to make small changes but retain your initial findings. Thanks for watching our walkthrough of how to create a building portfolio. Check out our knowledge base for more information, and as always, don't hesitate to get in touch.